No one was happier to see Trump elected than Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But is that still the case? Trump's first term had delivered major wins for Israel: the scrapping of the Iran nuclear deal, the assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, the Abraham Accords with the Gulf states, and the moving of the US Embassy to Jerusalem. Netanyahu expected more of the same from Trump's return. And it seemed that way at first, with Trump removing Biden's sanctions on some violent settlers in the occupied West Bank and lifting Biden's hold on 2,000 pound bombs to Israel. But despite the initial honeymoon, Israel Hayom reported that relations have reached a low point with mutual disappointment on both sides. Now, as Trump hints at a big announcement to come on Gaza and reports say he's pressuring Israel for a ceasefire, the president seems to have lost his patience with the Israeli premier and is making policy choices for the both of them. First was the Witkoff effect in January, when Trump's envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, pulled Netanyahu into a meeting on Shabbat and forced him to agree to a ceasefire deal he'd spent months rejecting. But the Trump administration has also been holding talks without Israel and with some of its staunchest opponents. Axios revealed in March that the US had been holding secret direct talks with Hamas without telling Israel. Then in April, the US and Iran began talks to limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for the removal of US sanctions, in their highest level contact since 2018, surprising Netanyahu with the news at a press conference. It's a similar deal to the one Israel encouraged Trump to scrap in 2018. With the US set to enter its fourth round of talks soon, Trump has said the deal is well on its way. But Israel's Channel 12 has reported that Israel is deeply concerned that talks are very advanced, that they will reach a bad deal that doesn't meet Israel's conditions, and that the US is not sharing enough information with Israel on key points, all of which it says is deeply disturbing. Israel had drawn up plans to strike Iran's nuclear facilities in May, but Trump rejected these, preferring a diplomatic rather than military approach, and Israel couldn't conduct the plans without US assistance. But it's not just Iran. One Israeli official said the country was blindsided by Trump announcing a ceasefire with the Houthis on Wednesday, days after the group's attack on Israel's Ben Gurion airport. Despite the Houthis saying that they would continue attacking Israel, Israeli representatives were unable to obtain information from White House officials until a full 24 hours after Trump's announcement. The US has been pursuing major policy initiatives without including Israel. It's talked with Hamas over the release of American captives, it's talking with Iran on limiting its nuclear program, and it's talked with the Houthis about their disruption of international shipping rather than their attacks on Israel. It's not a surprise, it's Trump's America First doctrine, which is also why his upcoming visit to the Middle East includes Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, but not Israel despite its requests. Can't offer Trump the kind of deals he's hoping to sign in the Gulf. Or, as one senior Republican senator put it to an Israeli politician, why should he go to Israel? To help these deals, Trump has reportedly removed normalization with Israel as a condition for granting Saudi Arabia access to civil nuclear power, which had been a key point in Biden's planned deal. Instead, the Trump administration has warned Israel that it would be excluded from any US-Saudi deals if it did not end its war on Gaza. Haaretz reported on Friday that Trump has pressured Israel to reach a ceasefire with Hamas before next week's visit, warning that Israel would be left on its own if it did not join the US in making progress. Unlike the Gulf, Israel seems to be losing, not gaining, connections with the Trump administration. Jared Kushner, who played a key role between the two countries in Trump's first term, has stayed away from politics in Trump's second term. Israel's typical strategy of pressuring US presidents by using other politicians as counterweights has not worked either. Netanyahu and his strategic affairs minister Ron Dermer thought they had a back channel into the White House via former national security advisor Mike Waltz, who was a traditional Republican foreign policy hawk. But Trump dismissed Waltz for coordinating with Israel about potentially striking Iran without him. The rest of Trump's cabinet believed that the US should either reduce its force abroad or redirect it to China. And whereas Netanyahu used congressional Republicans to try and corner Obama, he can't do the same now. Republicans are all loyal to Trump, and so there's no one to outflank the president with from the right. The two remain in cooperation over Iran nuclear talks and plans to bring aid into Gaza, for example. But the US seems to be making its own decisions on the region, leaving Israel to catch up afterwards. It seems Netanyahu is finding out that America first really does mean America first, even for its closest ally.